so that is Celia.
Okay, cool. Sorry? Yes.
We are not going to wait on him.
Okay.
Like, he's either gets here on time or he doesn't.
Okay,
You know?
so when the mayor gets here, we're going to do a ribbon cutting right here.
Yeah.
Officers waiting.
everybody. If we could maybe grab some seats. It's going to be an intimate setting here. Not a lot of room, but we've got a gallery crowd inside, and hopefully everybody can hear well. Welcome for those of you that don't know me. My name's Doug Schumacher. Hey, thank you. All right. An early applause line. I appreciate that, Mayor Garcetti. So I'm Doug Schumacher. I'm the president of Mercy Housing California. This is a very exciting day for us for lots of different reasons, not the least of which is we're here to honor Howard and Irene Levine for their lifetime of good works and particularly their commitment to Mercy Housing. But we're also here to celebrate this wonderful housing and the partnership between Mercy Housing, New Directions, the City of LA, the council member and the mayor's office, and everyone else, the Department of Transportation that's been involved in making this happen. It would be nice to say that affordable housing projects like this are easy, but this is like a great example. This was like landing a triple Lutz or whatever I'm not a skater, so what I understand the difficulty to be. And there's a lot of different folks we're going to thank throughout the day, but without going into all that detail, I want to just open up by welcoming Mayor Garcetti, who was a housing champion before it was popular. I know the challenges in LA around housing and homelessness are legion, but we really appreciate your ongoing support and passion about this issue. And with that, no further introduction, Mayor Garcetti.
Well, thank you so much, Doug. Thank you for your incredible, you deserve a round of applause whenever your name is mentioned. So enjoy it because you have too been a visionary for long before it was the cool thing to do. And everybody at Mercy Housing has just been a tremendous partner. And I want to thank the for having us here in your home. It's really special to be here. Welcome for any of you who have just moved to LA or came to LA from over the border someplace else. Welcome to LA. This is your council member. I'm your mayor. Please call on us on everything here. But this is really the result of hard work, of patience, of vision, and of planning. I've tried to do two things as your mayor: get us back to the basics so we can do things better, and also to build the city of the future. And if the city of the future looks something like this, I have a lot of optimism about where LA is going to go in our next chapter. And our partnership, this incredible partnership of HHH projects across the city. HHH, as you'll remember, is the homeless housing measure that voters overwhelmingly passed. And don't listen to any of the criticisms. It's coming in 2 years early, 15,000 less per unit, and 1,000 more units than we promised. How often do you get it cheaper, faster, and more? To steal Ann Sewell's lines, who I'll mention in the next one. But we are also here to honor the Levine family and the memory, the blessed memory of Howard and Irene Levine. And this is a place that is, for all of us, not memory, but who have been able to see 2 years after it opened, that's the memory piece, the work that we have done because two people believed in housing, built that strength across this country, and then gave it back through the work that they did with Mercy Housing. And to have it named after you, I think, is so fitting because for all of us, we see angels in the city of angels all the time, and you certainly are them. And you are surrounded by angels in this community who, instead of saying no, found out a way to get to yes. They found out a way to say yes and not a replacement of parking that we had to worry about not having any housing or housing without the replacement of parking. We actually did something that was a win-win-win. A win for our housing issues, a win for our community, and a win for parking, which still is something pretty popular in LA. This development opened back in August 2020. And the 46 units of affordable and supportive housing here are occupied. But I'm glad that we have the ability to celebrate, not as something abstract. Often we come and we say, and people are soon moving in, but to actually do it together with the folks that have the comfort and the security, folks who could have been on the verge of homelessness or who simply would have been priced out of this market, folks who need to go to sleep with a roof over their heads and stay close to their families, and who should live the best years of their life enjoying some of the best housing that they can be in. And another champion, another angel, whose work is also, as a Jew, I should stop saying blessed memory, but has been something that I have a lot of blessed memories about, Paul Koretz, because he has served, we were talking about the LA riots and the uprising a couple days ago, and he said, I was a council member in West Hollywood when that happened. I was like, wow, he has served for 30 years. This city, this state, another city next door. So give it up for Paul Koretz, the hardest working man in show business. And the two departments that are represented here. I want to thank Salita Reynolds, who I've had the joy of working with virtually the entire time I've been mayor. An extraordinary advocate and visionary, not just in Los Angeles, but nationwide and globally on kind of building the new transportation and planning that we need. And her team at the Department of Transportation figured out a way to make this work. So please give her a round of applause. I know you'll be hearing from her as well, too. And Ann Sewell and the staff of the Housing Department. We recruited Ann to come back to the Housing Department where she had been earlier in her career. And she is the finest housing general manager that I've worked with, somebody who's just done an amazing job at the moment that Los Angeles needs that, and her entire team, too, who made this work. You don't always get two women who are general managers together, and you definitely don't always get two general managers working together, period. But I think when you get two women, it shows what is possible. And so I want to raise up the leadership of these two extraordinary women. This is my second event with Garrett and Bank of America this week. So thank you for the incredible work that you've done. HACLA, our housing authority, which was critical. VASH, our federal representatives, and our VASH vouchers that are here for our veterans. As a veteran, it's so critical. And it shows we reduced veterans homelessness by 85% in the city of LA. There's still thousands in the county. But it shows we can end homelessness when we have that commitment at the federal level. And that really made this possible as well. But I love this because, first of all, this serves older Angelenos, like that generation of my parents right now, who are increasingly vulnerable, who are increasingly priced out, who increasingly are lost. They're scraping by on Social Security. They're asking their family for a little help. And one rent hike is enough to put them out on the street. And then there's what this site used to be, as we know, critical parking for here, Kosher Row, Pico Robertson, this heart of Los Angeles. But today, with 46 older Angelenos who have supportive and affordable housing, repurposing city land, it's great being mayor, watching a mayor's race come, because I've gotten like 3 or 4 mailers that's like, when I'm mayor, I'm going to take all the city land, do an inventory, and try to build affordable housing on it. Well, awesome, because I'm going to pass you a warm baton to do what we're already doing here with every scrap of land that we can find. And repurposing city-owned land is great because we all already own it. And it's why we created the Affordable Housing Opportunity Sites program back in 2015 to bring together those city departments, identify DWP land, DOT land, anything that we own, even the smallest slivers and some of the biggest chunks that we have, to be able to now already do 5 projects with over 200 units open, another 19 with 1,500 units under construction, and another 14 that are in the development negotiation stage with another 600 units. So I didn't get my math all in there, but I think it is 2,300 units just using city land that we own. And beyond that, as I mentioned, HHH gives us the funding for this on average. Don't look at the cost per unit. It's a false metric because we often put programs, mental health, programming for seniors, other things in that, and then people, which most apartment buildings don't, and then they average that into each apartment. We're paying, as I said, $15,000 less, and how much of subsidy? About $135,000 is what we're putting in, leveraging money from everywhere else that if we weren't doing, it would just go to other cities and other states. So it's a good bang for our buck. Usually we get $3 or $4 for every $1 that we put in as well. And we're on track to close this year with over 40 new projects in HHH. That's 2,500 units open, ready for residents. Another 28 that are underway that will be broken ground. That's another 1,700 units. I know it's a lot to take in, but almost 12,000 units of housing. And my message to my successor is keep that momentum going. Find permanent sources of funding. We've gone from 6% of our housing to 25% of our housing being affordable since I've been mayor. We've gone from about 8,000 units a year to about 25,000 units a year. That's a tripling. And when it comes to permanent supportive housing, we've increased 6-fold the number. I say all those not for myself, but I know it can be depressing when we look at tents on our streets. I know it can be, we wonder, when is help going to come? It is here. These will be years which we're seeing doubling and tripling of numbers we've never seen before. The challenge will be keeping it up for a decade or a decade and a half so that we can see finally the end of tents on our streets. And so this year we're targeting another 10 sites with 900 units to take advantage of every opportunity to get folks off the street, put them in a permanent home, and to keep people who are in housing housed. We don't run from a challenge in Los Angeles. We run to it. We don't run from the fire. We put it out. And so we're building this partnership. I want to thank my team, Azine, everybody from the Mayor's Office of City Homelessness Initiatives. That was another thing people are campaigning on. I'm going to put somebody in charge of homelessness. Well, his name is Che Ramirez, and he's a deputy mayor. He's doing amazing work, and his team is doing amazing work, too. So finally, are there any Spanish anybody need, or are we okay? Okay. I guess when you come to the Jewish section, I don't have to speak Spanish. I can do both. So speaking of Jewish, let me introduce a great council member. Yeah, thank you. You know, he is somebody who I have loved serving with. I know early on he said, my district is the most expensive. I can't find any land. But he found not only one, but a second parcel that I drive by on Santa Monica Boulevard where we are building, even in a very tough place to find land, to be able to pay for that land, 2 city properties that are making sure that it doesn't matter what district, we're going to bring everybody home. Please welcome your council member, and who knows, maybe the next controller of the city of LA, Paul Koretz.
Well, thank you, Mayor Garcetti, for your kind words and all your good work in moving us forward on this. Although I'm a little bit nervous when you said I'm of blessed memory. I hope you don't know something that I don't. I hope to be here for many years. But I'm pleased to be able to be here with you all today to celebrate 2 much-needed projects in one that were completed in my council district during the height of COVID. Today, as the COVID pandemic is becoming less of a daily threat to our public health, it's wonderful for us to take an hour of our time to belatedly celebrate its completion. I'm so pleased to celebrate today Mercy Housing's Howard and Irene Levine community. This project, which was completed and opened during the height of the pandemic, features 48 beautiful units, 12 of which are reserved for senior veterans, which, as we all know, has been a high priority for the city of Los Angeles. And hopefully we will see a point soon where we have no homeless veterans on the streets of LA. That was a reminder also that as the baby boom generation ages, we need more and more of this kind of housing dedicated to seniors. More than a decade ago, federal funding for senior housing dried up, along with subsidies for affordable housing of any kind. And now we find ourselves facing a crisis that few are willing to even talk about. The annual homeless counts have determined that almost 1/3 of the unhoused in LA are seniors. And without more projects like this one, that percentage is likely to even grow. Seniors on fixed incomes can't afford the kind of luxury apartments that continue to proliferate. So I'm grateful to Mercy Housing for stepping up both here and across the country. And Mercy provides homes for more than 5,400 seniors, and we all know the need for more is great. Secondly, I want to focus on the completion of the revitalized and expanded city parking lot. And thank you to LADOT for all your help and creativity in making this work. And also thank you to our housing department and Sewell and our department for getting this built. This is not only a sign of flexibility from LADOT in letting us take this parking lot and turning it into housing, but also providing a second floor for the community. This is a big shot in the arm for this diverse neighborhood, especially the religious Jewish community that surrounds it. There are a variety of businesses that sell kosher foods, such as Schwartz's Bakery next door. We also find within a block of here Livonia Glatt Mart, Jeff's Gourmet Sausages, BB's Bakery and Cafe, and many more. We also have several Orthodox synagogues and other institutions in close proximity, including B'nai David Judea, which is right next door. We want the community to know, importantly, that they have this great new convenient parking garage available to them for just $1 an hour, $5 for the entire day, and even less for monthly parking. And that's something we do need to still market because not every space is taken yet. And every space is needed, it's just there are a lot of residents and business customers that don't know it's there. So we want the community to know they have this great new lot. Please come here for food and patronize our local restaurants and park when you visit your shul during the week. This location has a long history with the city. This was originally parking lot 689 with 39 spaces, and it was approved for this project long ago. And the idea was always to build housing on the lot with replacement parking on the bottom floor. But shortly after I took office, we were approached by members of the South Robertson Neighborhood Council, who saw this very logically as an opportunity to add even more parking to this already parking-stressed neighborhood without having to pay for the property, because it was already here. We were already building something. I appreciate all the members of SORO, particularly Terrence Gomes and John Lieberman, who were strong advocates for doing this. I introduced a motion to seek funding, which led to identifying almost $1.5 million for the extra cost. This allowed us to expand the parking component to its current total of 73 spaces available to the public. And hopefully once we get the word out, we will use every one of those spaces. So I offer thanks and a belated welcome to the 5th District, to everyone at Mercy, with a note of encouragement to find more opportunities of this kind throughout the city. And I do also want to thank DOT also, because not only did they make this parking lot available, they made the parking lot available on Santa Monica Boulevard that is now an HHH project there also near Sepulveda going up. And that kind of flexibility has been really critical. If we don't get that kind of cooperation from our departments, we're not going to be able to meet our goals in terms of homeless housing and to one day not see any tents on the streets of LA. So again, thank you to our terrific staff. I also want to thank Jay Greenstein in my office, who's my transportation deputy and who's worked on this since before I got here, when he was working for Councilmember Jack Weiss and this effort first started. Thank you again to the members of the SORO Neighborhood Council who encouraged this great idea. And thank you to Mercy Housing and their contractor, who so graciously took this additional component as part of this very vital project. So this is very exciting, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much, Council Member. And I also do want to add our thanks to the South Robertson Neighborhood, John Lieberman, Michael Lynn, and everyone else who helped with all the hard work on this. And DOT and the others will be coming up in a minute, and you'll get your thanks in that moment, but you've already gotten a lot. So it is now my pleasure to bring up Ann Sewell, who, as the mayor indicated, is a great general manager. Some of you may not know that Ann was on our board before she was stolen by Mayor Garcetti, but that's I think an excellent compliment to Ann. I'll just say, I think there are a few people you come across in your career that you immediately know you want to be friends with and that you want to do work with, and that inspire you and sort of make you feel like you're going to do your best work and also make you laugh. So that combination is rare. Ann Sewell is one of those people for me. I think it's been a joy to me to know Ann, to work with her, to call her a friend, and so excited that she's here to join us and celebrate this moment.
Thank you, Doug. That's very kind. So much, thank you all. So much has been said, and I don't have that much to add to it. Just a couple of stories. I've been at the city this time for 20 months now, and one of the things that's been great is finding the brotherhood or sisterhood of general managers. And even though Salita and I don't know each other well, there came a day on this project where Mercy was having a meltdown because something had to be signed. And I said, and the staff in DOT was saying very reasonably that their boss was on vacation and kind of sucks to be you, but you're going to have to wait. And I emailed Salita, and she was like, I can come in tomorrow morning really early in my family vacation before we leave and sign this document. And she did. So, really amazing work, and I really appreciate the support. It was an honor to serve on the Board of Mercy and to watch this project get developed. I think it takes a lot of leadership certainly Mayor Garcetti and Councilmember Koretz have demonstrated that. But it also just takes the month-by-month dogged perseverance that we've seen from Mercy Housing California, and I just really want to thank Doug and the whole staff. And I have the total joy of coming in the month that the project was being leased up and completed. So I get to accept the thanks, but really they all bounce back to all of you, and so thank you very much. Am I supposed to introduce somebody? Are you? No. Are you going to say something nice about Salida?
I will. I just met Salida, but I'm sure she's a wonderful person, and we appreciate all the great work that she does. And praise from Ann is high praise. So there you go.
It is. Thank you so much, and thank you. Another round for the amazing Ann Sewell in the Housing Department. Salida Reynolds, General Manager, LADOT, and I do have to say first, deep gratitude for Mayor Garcetti and Councilmember Koretz for their leadership, for the long line of leaders, for the whole community it took to make this happen. Homelessness, housing, affordability, these are the crises of our time, and they're inextricably linked to the climate crisis. And for a long time at LADOT, we thought about the way we manage public space and the way we manage land as about moving and storing private cars, and that was that. But we know that is absolutely not up to the task of the moment. And so, between you and me, Mayor, you can have every LADOT parking lot and turn it into housing if you want. Because it is a much better and higher use. And in particular, this housing, I have so much compassion and passion to serve older adults in general. We do such a miserably poor job in this country of helping people age with dignity. And so anything that the Department of Transportation can do, anything under my authority that I can do to help right a little bit of those wrongs, I will do in a heartbeat without thinking about it. So I also just want to recognize my incredible staff, David Cataldo, who's here, Santu Beecham, Eldwin Lum, and Sonia Solis, also critical partners. David and I have become experts on doing notarized signatures. I hope that by the end of this, my time here, I have a permanently stained thumb from doing so many thumbprints, because I know every time David calls and wants me to sign something, it means that we are taking another piece of land and making it into something useful, because that is what we have to offer, and that is what we have to give. So we will give it all every day of the week and twice on Sunday. So thank you so much for just the opportunity to be here to recognize their incredible work, because like Ann, I just show up to cut the ribbon and smile for the cameras. And I guarantee you that David never said sucks to be you. That is Ann's translation, because his professionalism and his commitment to the work is really second to none. So thank you so much, and really just my heart is full of delight and excitement for this project and many more to come. Thank you.
All right. Wonderful. And it really is amazing to hear somebody from the Department of Transportation talk about housing and seniors that way. It's really, you must be an amazing general manager. So we will be knocking on your door soon for some more parking lots. So as folks have mentioned, in addition to serving seniors, which is a super high priority for Mercy Housing and I think the whole field of affordable housing, and obviously the city of LA, we do have this wave of people aging at this point, many of whom don't have the means of making it without some help in this overheated housing market. And that is especially true, of course, for senior vets. We have had the honor of working with New Directions for Veterans now on I think 3 or 4 different developments. We started together out on a development in El Monte. It's been a phenomenal partnership. And I have the pleasure of bringing up Leo Quadrado, and I want to make sure I get all of this right, who's the executive director, obviously, of New Directions for Vets. He's a retired captain of the U.S. Marine Corps, and here to talk a little bit about the great work that New Directions does is Leo Quadrado.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Mayor. Like you mentioned, I'm Leo Quadrado, the Executive Director for New Directions for Veterans. I'm a 20-year Marine Corps veteran. I'm honored to be here today on behalf of New Directions to celebrate the dedication and renaming of the Pico Robertson Senior Community to the Howard and Irene Levine Senior Community. I would like to begin by thanking the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, Bank of America, California Department of Veteran Affairs, LA Housing Department, California Housing Community Development, and our partners, Mercy Housing, and all those involved in this project. Thank you for your contribution and your dedication helping veterans and making this site possible. For those of you who are not familiar with New Directions for Veterans, we are a nonprofit agency that has been serving homeless veterans and their families since 1992. Over the last 30 years, we have witnessed how successfully veterans can thrive in a community of peers where on-site supportive services enrich their lives and enhance their ability to live independently. Like Mayor Garcetti mentioned, Triple H funds have made our services possible here at this site. The Howard and Irene Levine Senior Community is not a shelter or a transitional house. This is home, a place where senior veterans and seniors can find their way forward. And they will do so with New Directions for Veterans and the support of all those who made today possible, and a perfect reminder that all our efforts are not in vain and our heroes are not forgotten. This site is home to 12 veteran units and 36 low-income senior units. Our veterans will be able to take part in community events, leisure skills programs, socialization programs, and other activities. This residential community is building resiliency in our tenants by facilitating veteran choice and encouraging hope, empowerment, and self-responsibility. We are there every step of the way, guiding them through everyday challenges they face to ensure they retain housing. We are honored and proud to have our name associated with Howard and Irene Levine for all their philanthropy work in promoting quality affordable housing for all, and not to mention Mr. Levine is a fellow alum from UCLA Anderson School of Management. Go Bruins. At New Directions, we are proud to report that 97% of our veterans that we place in permanent supportive housing remain housed. Today is a day that calls for celebration, but while we celebrate, we must not forget all of the veterans who are still living on the streets that need our help. In the Marine Corps, we were always taught, never leave a Marine behind, both in garrison and in combat. We will continue to fight for them and do so until every homeless veteran has a place to live and the supportive services they need to ensure they never live on the streets again. The Howard and Irene Levine Senior Community is proof that by working together, we can make a difference. Thank you for being part of this dedication, and thank you again for joining us as we celebrate this wonderful event. Thank you.
Thanks, Leo. And I just want to mention, I want to say maybe like 8 years ago, made a commitment organizationally that we really wanted to do more around veterans, particularly around veterans homelessness. So I think we're on our 8th development now. We just opened a building in Placentia, Northern Orange County. We're about to start one in Norwalk. We've got 2 buildings now in El Monte and a number of others in the Bay Area and Sacramento. And we don't have a better partner than New Directions. It really makes a huge difference to work with a group that knows so much about the issues and works so well with us. So really appreciate your team's work, Leo, and everything you do. There are a lot of other thank yous. I want to mention a couple others while I'm up here. Ellen Lynette and the advisory committee. I want to thank our architects from KFA. I saw them somewhere in the back there. Our contractor on this was Dreyfus Construction, and some of you may have known Jim Dreyfus, who recently passed away rather suddenly. So much appreciation to him. Our team that worked on this project is here. Many of them are inside or around in the development. Martine Garay and Erica Villablanca, who really carried this from the back. Our wonderful property management team, Cindy Wise, Jennifer Quejas, Susie Velasquez, Jonathan Wolf. Farial, I'm going to mess up your last name, so I'm just going to stop there. Our wonderful resident services coordinator, and I promise to get it right on the next one, so I apologize for that. But a great team out here that's going to do wonderful work as we make it a long-term home for so many folks. We do these projects, and I always say at these events, there's like a cast of thousands, lots of notaries, a lot of thumb ink. I have a fake thumb that I use that I could get you, that I just leave in the office. Garrett Jin from Bank of America is here to represent the bank, who's been an incredible partner to Mercy Housing. We also see a lot of Garrett and the rest of the Bank of America team. They're one of the best affordable housing finance partners in the country. We work with them throughout the United States, and it's a real pleasure to have you here today.
Wow, not much more to be said after that, but I will be brief because Mercy Housing put out this great LA deli spread as a reminder to all the speakers, be brief. But I do want to congratulate Mercy and all the partners on this great celebration. For us at Bank of America, this is a commitment that, as the mayor said, requires persistence and patience and a real dedication to what can transform LA. I was trying to get reacquainted with this project, and I asked a teammate from the community development banking team, Cindy Spivak, Brandon Butcher, and the rest of them, to just send me some information. And they sent me an email on the closing from December 2017. I mean, number one, who keeps emails from December 2017, right? But it really shows how much dedication goes into this, the patience, and as Ann said, overcoming those meltdowns, really putting the intellectual capital to match the financial capital that the bank puts into this. So this, I think the total construction cost that we provided was around $30 million. That goes part of the overall commitment that we do around the country. $6.6 billion in lending and investing in community development projects all of last year, and we're looking for more, obviously, to do more here in Los Angeles. So that patience and persistence, that's what drives this. And I appreciate the teammates who have put their heart and soul into this. I will say that the power of "and," as the mayor mentioned, is also a big part of this, because it's not an either or. You can have quality affordable housing and it be sustainable. You can have it for seniors, and for veterans. And so that power of combining all of our interests is really what makes this work. So congratulations to Mercy and all the partners, and especially congratulations to the residents, for the veterans and the seniors to have the quality of life here that matches your love for the city and your service to our country. Thank you.
Thanks, Garrett, and many thanks to Cindy and Brandon, who I see in the back, and who have been long-term partners in crime on this. Not in a bad way. I probably shouldn't say partners in crime. I don't get dragged into any ongoing investigations. So now it's my pleasure to bring up David Levine, who is going to speak on behalf of the family. I mentioned earlier, Howard was a board member with us for 9 years. He was a great pleasure to work with. Let me drive his convertible a couple times, which was really exciting. And when we, moved from Orange to LA to do our work, Howard had joined the board, and he was very excited, I think, about getting us to do more work in Southern California, and is a big reason behind why we've been as successful as we have, and hopefully we'll become even more successful in the future. And we were lucky enough to have not just one generation of Levines, but two. And I'm sorry, let me just stop by saying, and also Irene, who is also a great pleasure. Irene and Howard came by to just kick the tires and make sure they wanted this building named after them. And Irene gave it the stamp of approval. We're getting you a deck chair up in that top area that you like so much, so you can come anytime you want. David is the next generation of Levine to serve in this capacity, which is really wonderful. A family legacy that we greatly appreciate. I know it means a lot to the family. David recently joined our board, but has been a friend of Mercy for many years already. He is president and CEO of Presidio Mortgage Holdings in San Francisco. He served previously as the chair of the Contemporary Jewish Museum in San Francisco, which means he had to raise a lot of money. And he currently serves on our board, as well as being the executive director of a private family foundation. So, David.
Thank you. First, Mayor, Councilman, thank you for everything that you guys have done, are doing to make this happen. The elected officials, it's incredible what you guys are doing. As you can see, this is a team sport. Right, you are a beautiful conductor. You are a maestro, Doug, and thank you. I guess before I get started, I'd like to acknowledge my sister, Marcy, my brother, Jay, and feel free to interject at any point if you hear anything that you feel differently about. But this morning, I would love to tell you a little bit more about our parents, their journey, and their values. My mother grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, was raised by a single mother and lots of extended relatives. My father grew up in an ethnically diverse community in the Bronx. I'm not too sure of the order. It might have all been simultaneous, but he was a messenger in the mortgage business. He bounced between a few colleges and joined the Army. Early in his career, he was transferred to Jacksonville, Florida, where he met my mother. They got married. They had Jay, and Dad was ready. Thank you, to move on. Dad was transferred to Memphis, where my sister Marcy was born. And again, Dad was transferred out to Los Angeles. I think Dad was ready to control his own destiny, went to UCLA, and then started ARC's Mortgage back in 1970. I was born here in Los Angeles. The business was bought and sold a couple of times, but the culture never changed. Mom was always by Dad's side. She always made him look good. Dad can't remember a name. Mother can't forget a name. Mom remembers every birthday, and we need to remind Dad about Mother's birthday. And my mother always has a smile on. ARC's had a very high moral compass. Dad set the tone. It was clear that no one was more important than anyone else in the organization. Everyone mattered, and everything they did mattered. But the most important things I have learned from Mom and Dad, I see in them every day. There is no one more appreciative and grateful than my mother. She reminds us daily to count our blessings. There is no one more humble than our father. No one is more important than anyone else. This is why they both love Mercy and are so honored to be able to support Mercy's mission. Providing quality housing is a core family value. Doug, on behalf of our entire family, thank you for everything Team Mercy is doing. This is really an unbelievable team sport. You can see it here, how hard everyone is working to make this dream come true. So thank you very much for everything you and the team are doing. Thank you.
Okay, I am sure I've forgotten some folks, so in advance, apologies. Monica, somewhere back there, thank you again for doing a great event. So somewhere in the back there. Monica has to adapt from event to event, you know. So today we're in a heavily Jewish community. Next week we'll be in a heavily Latino community, and then a week after that, who knows? So, and she does a great job of adapting and making sure we're all where we need to be, and that my notes don't leave too much out. But Irene's got. Thank you, Irene. And I don't know if this is what you mean exactly, Irene, but I'll just say that I think it is kind of remarkable you have an organization founded by a group of Catholic sisters. I'm like half Unitarian and half Jewish, with great support from folks from lots of different faiths because we share values. And I think that's partly what Irene is talking about, and that we are able to do this work by working with people where they're coming from, whether they're a vet or a new immigrant or a longtime member of a community. And I think that's what we hope to be in each of these neighborhoods. And so thank you for recognizing that, Irene. Irene will be appearing on all of our television commercials throughout LA. And if you want to make a donation to those television commercials, just let us know. So last but not least, I see some other good friends out there. Tim works at the Levine Center over at UCLA. Paul Biesmeyer in the back, who is our support on virtually every project we do. We all turn to Paul for the answers, so appreciate you, Paul. But, you know, the real reason people come to these events is because of the residents that get to move into these buildings. And we're lucky enough today that Edward Story, who is a resident here, has agreed to share a little of his story Sorry, there wasn't a pun meant there. It just happened. I got a chance to meet Edward very briefly. He was born in Seattle in 1944, grew up in Tokyo, and he studied international relations in college, was in ROTC, served in both the U.S. and Vietnam as an infantry officer under the Civil Operations and Revolutionary Development Support. He's worked in multiple professional fields, including healthcare and technology, and is a very enjoyable person to talk to. And so with that, I give you Ed's story.
Well, it's an honor to be here, and to the Levines, I want to thank you for your generosity. To Mercy Housing, all the executives and staff, don't remember all the names, but thank you to Mr. Mayor, to council member, to the Veterans Administration, and to New Directions for Veterans, and to the management of this building. Jennifer back there, raise your hand. And anyone that I may have forgotten, please. So that is speaking as a grateful human being for the many kindnesses on my way here, and there are many people involved in that, and for the privilege of residing here, which is a distinct privilege. Now, since I've been given a couple of minutes, I'd like to speak as both a human being and a veteran. This is a reminder, if one is needed, our world order is in question. My life has been lived from the hard-fought beginning of our world order. I was born in 1944, to today, when it is distinctly in question. The brutality of what is happening as I speak in a sister democracy is simply horrific. My words are, don't be intimidated. Put yourself in the Ukrainians' shoes. Look both at Bucha and particularly look at the children when they look at you straight in the camera on television. We must move faster to protect what we have. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that in, Ed. I appreciate it. It's hard to say what next after that, but I really greatly appreciate you bringing that into view today, because it's really important that we keep that center of mind. So I think that's it in terms of festivities or the things. We have some great food for you, as noted. This is a temporary plaque, but the real one, I believe, is down below, first floor. And great to have all of you here. Really especially appreciate having you here, Mr. Mayor, Councilman Koretz, and everyone else who's made this possible. And so please circulate and enjoy yourselves. Thanks so much.